Hey, today we're jumping into news about the next update for Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. I'll recap what they're patching, discuss a feature removed from the game, share a former developer's thoughts on the loading screens, and cover so much more. With that said, hit the like button below to show some love, and let's get right into it. Alright, let's start with an update on the next patch and what the developers are working on. First is a VRAM issue. Recently, some PC players have reported a bug causing VRAM to display incorrectly. The developers are aware and have confirmed it's a user interface error, which they plan to fix in a future update. Next, there's an issue with the inventory menu, but the developers haven't said whether this will be fixed in a later patch. Specifically, players have noticed they cannot see their equipped weapons in the inventory menu. In response, Bethesda acknowledged the problem and suggested a temporary fix by unequipping and re-equipping the weapon, but stressed this is only a temporary workaround. What's frustrating is that unlike their clear communication about other bugs in the past, they haven't confirmed if a permanent fix is coming. Instead, they offered a temporary workaround, which are helpful, but I think letting players know a fix is on the way would be way more reassuring than just saying, here's a workaround, try it out. Not only that, but there's also a problem with saving. Some players have reported being unable to save their game, and the reason is likely that you named your character with symbols. Bethesda revealed this is causing save issues for many players, and it seems there's no fix for it yet. I tried using the set actor full name command, but I couldn't click on my character to get the reference ID. Let's now go over a recap of all the bugs Bethesda is aware of and plans to patch it in a future update. I covered these in a previous video, but we're going to do a quick recap for those new to the channel. Bethesda is aiming to patch the following bugs. Characters that are too tall and can't pass through doors will be fixed. The enchantment menu freezing will be resolved. NPC dialogues not appearing correctly will get a fix. Light type spells that are visually invisible will be addressed in the next update. Issues with selecting spells or changing categories will be patched. Resolution issues for widescreen monitors will be corrected. And the VRAM issue we just covered in today's video will also be fixed. These are all the bugs they plan to patch in an upcoming update so far. Anyway, Bethesda is also aware of a crashing bug that can happen during a quest that's called Through a Nightmare Darkly. This seems to be an issue going on for several players, and there's a workaround that someone suggested on the Reddit Oblivion subreddit page. We can actually see it here. One person said they're crashing every single time, and a player commented that they skipped through the last dialogue after collecting all the elements, and that worked for them. It seems to be a workaround that helped a lot of players, as you can tell from the comments. Now, like I said, the developers are aware of the problem, but they didn't say if they're fixing it anytime soon. They just said to skip the dialogue, but the support team didn't say exactly when to skip the NPC dialogue. Nonetheless, I hope this information helps a lot. On a related note, Bethesda does have some solutions for crashes on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, but I don't think they're that great. They suggest making sure your console is ventilated, like that's gonna stop crashes. They mentioned to reinstall the game and a bunch of other fixes. The problem is, it's most likely not your console or PC, it's an issue with the game's code. I'm pretty sure they're using the same source code from 2006 Oblivion for the Oblivion Remastered, since a lot of the glitches and exploits from back then still work now. So yeah, I don't think those solutions are going to help, to be honest. You can try them out anyways if you want to. Next up, there's a workaround for the Confront the King quest. Before we get into this, just a quick spoiler warning because we're going to go over some tips and tricks to bypass a bug in this quest. If you want to skip this part, check the description and tap one of the timestamps. Okay, now that you've been warned, here's what's up. There's a Reddit post here that shows players discussing an issue with this quest. The Bethesda team knows about it, but they didn't say if they're patching it in the next update. They did share two solutions you can try. Use a water breathing spell or the glass helmet to swim to the bottom of the water. This will force the NPC to follow you and eventually he'll drown. The second suggestion is technically a bunch of other suggestions all in one. They talked about reloading an earlier save, going into the water tunnel and jumping to a ledge where the NPC is, or even pushing the NPC to reset his position. Yep, that's what they recommend, and I think the first option is your best bet. They haven't said if the patch is coming, like I said, so you're best off just trying one of the solutions for now. They also have a solution for the Go Fish quest where you can't turn in the slaughterfish scales if you collected more than 12. This bug overall will stop you from completing the quest, and the support team suggests loading a previous save. Yeah, another solution that involves reloading older saves, and that sucks a lot, to be honest. They know about the bug, but once again, they haven't said anything about resolving it. Now, there's more. Apparently, there's another bug quest, this time for Deliver the Amulet quest, that can hit you right at the start. If you pick the katana up right at the beginning and skip through Boris's dialogue, it locks you out from progressing. Bethesda suggests not skipping the dialogue so Boris can take the katana from you. It's crazy that this issue exists right at the start, and it's another problem they haven't confirmed will be patched. So there's actually one more thing I'd like to bring up about bugs in general that might help out a lot of you. So basically right here is a post from a player named Michael053. This player had saved their game while wearing a robe with the chameleon on self-trade, and guess what? Their entire torso is invisible except for their head, legs, and arms. Apparently, if you save the game while wearing a robe and you have the chameleon effect on, this will happen to you. So if you do have those effects on your character right now, do not save the game. You're probably better off just removing it, then saving, and then reloading. That way you can avoid this bug. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you can resolve it by removing the clothing, but overall you're better off not, doing this at all. Just make sure to save the game without the robe or the chameleon effect self trait on. So just letting you guys know. Moving along, we have a conversation from Nesmith, a former Bethesda developer who did an interview with Video Gamer. He defended Bethesda's approach to loading screens, responding to players who called them lazy for using loading screens when traveling to different locations, whether entering a building or going into a cave. Here's what he had to say during the interview. Everybody who complains about them assumes that it's done because we're lazy or we don't want to follow the modern thinking on stuff. Then he went on to say, the reality is the Bethesda games are so detailed and so graphics intensive, you just can't have both present at the same time. Okay, quickly, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Post a comment below. Now, moving forward, Nesmith elaborated by saying you can't have the interiors of all these places loaded at the same time as the exteriors. That's just not an option. Then he went on to explain to Video Gamer and said, and all the fancy tricks for streaming and loading and all that, you end up with hitching. So you're actually better off stopping the game briefly, doing a loading screen, and then continuing on. Yeah, you know what? I think the best approach for them for their next upcoming games, they should find a smoother way to transition between areas without loading screens. For me at least, it's a better experience. I don't know about you all, but I prefer games with fewer loading screens. So, what are your thoughts on everything the former Bethesda dev said in the video game interview? Let me know. Alrighty, let's get back to the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered talk. Apparently Bethesda uploaded a video showcasing a scrapped first-person view feature for riding a horse. A Reddit user on the Oblivion subreddit pointed this out in a thread. I checked the video timestamps on Bethesda's channel and it's legit. They had this feature but cut it from the game. Maybe they'll reintroduce it in a future update. Would this interest you or not? I bet most of you would rather see bug fixes and difficulty mode tweaks than this feature, but hey, I'd love to see your thoughts. What I'd like to bring up next is something very interesting. You can actually heal the beggar's diseases that you can find around the Imperial City as well as other locations. Now, this was discovered by a player named iCorvin, and you can see they cured this beggar right here. Now, to show proof of this in-game, I'm actually going to cure a beggar doing the same thing, and it's quite interesting. You can do this too if you wish to, but if you don't, that makes sense because why would you want to help a beggar unless you're doing the quest for speechcraft. Nonetheless, you can actually heal a beggar, and I think it's really cool. And yeah, if you didn't know about this, now you do. Try it out if you would like to. If you have any comments about this, let me know what you think about it, but I think this is really awesome. Next up, what I'm going to show you is actually a test level that the developers would use to test out the navigation for NPCs, and it's interesting to me at least. Now, before, I was having some difficulties trying to get into this area because, well, my game would crash. Now I'm able to get in, and it's interesting. So you have all these different things going on, different types of gates that you would go through. This one would take you back to the hub. And there's this area right here, just different things that they were testing out. And you can see this NPC or a body here, and they would actually travel through these areas to test to see if they can work properly. And yeah, also not only that, but I was able to get in this area too that will allow me to spawn different doors and creatures. For example, if I tap spawn creatures, you'll see just about every creature in game, and it's a little laggy here because I think everything is spawned in at this point. There's also NPCs that I can spawn in. There's ammo, apparatus, books, ingredients. I mean, just a lot of cool stuff here. And this one right here, when I tried to click spawn NPCs, it froze for a second. But yeah, these are all the NPCs. It's absolutely crazy, guys. Let's spawn in some lights here. I think that'll be interesting. And sorry if my voice is a little raspy, by the way. Pretty raspy. There's all these lights as well. I mean, come on now. This is just freaking awesome. Oh, and also there's a test area right here where they would test out all the NPCs on damages. For example, there's spawn arena fighter, battle axe. You could actually use some of the cheat buttons on the side. Those don't work, unfortunately. But this area right here is something they would use to test out damage on NPCs. Not to mention, they have an area right here that has several different objects in game, and you can see the animation for this area right there. I mean, wow, just a lot of just incredible stuff going on here. I just love looking at this stuff and seeing what was going on behind the scenes, and this stuff is just amazing, man. Just cool stuff. Finally, we have the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured, all you have to do is comment below. The first top comment is by Adrenaline Kick. It kills me that we are in 2025 and there are still people who don't know that you run slower with your weapon drawn and NPCs dislike you more with your weapon drawn. Yeah, absolutely. So with that video specifically, I was just recording random stuff for the video. There was no actual gameplay there. I wasn't trying to actually play the game. It was just to grab some clips for that video. The second top comment is right here. IMO, what's important is performances, fixes, and mod support. Unfortunately, I haven't seen them mention this yet. No, they haven't, and they need to. They have talked about how the game does not support mods, which sucks, and hopefully at some point they'll do something there with it. The third and final comment is right here. You wrote, when they gonna fix difficulty scaling between adept and expert? Who knows? Probably never at this point. Well, I shouldn't say that. They might fix it. We don't know. Some have said it's a skill issue if you're complaining about it. Some say they would like the change. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Those are the top 3 comments. If you can, support the channel by tapping the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you all in the next video.